Hi, everybody. Hey, PG. Yeah, I'm hanging in by a thread too. I think we all are. Anyway, my name's Melissa, pre-range psychic. It's June the 30th, the last day of June. Hey, PG. Uh, June 30th, 2026. And another interesting week. And today, yeah, with all the Supreme Court judgments coming down, I'm going to wonder how everybody. Hey, Wildflower, hi. Well, I'm going to wonder what everybody thinks about the various decisions that came out. Hi, Earth Mama. How are you? Um, I have kind of like tried to school myself not to be surprised by anything the Supreme Court does or this government does, because, yeah, it's being run by this this group of I don't know, this alleged criminal cartel. At least I perceive it like that. And but not all bad today. And I thought that hey, Ivy, good afternoon. I'm glad you're okay, Earth Mama. Um, I'm glad that birthright citizenship was upheld. It should have been unanimous, but it was like 5-4. But I guess I knew, pretty much. I mean, I guess I was preparing myself for anything, but I sense that they would have to uphold it because, um, how much chaos in this country. I can't even fathom what that would mean. It's ridiculous, and I wondered whether it would have been a larger um, uh, percentage saying, upholding it, but maybe it did flicker through my mind, and I did ask the guides. Um, like, I think with some of these decisions, because they're obviously, I mean, especially with Alito and Thomas, they're beholding to who knows. Like, that's one of the decisions they came down to, not to disclose dark money, right? But who knows, who they're being funded by. So they may have to appease their donors or the orange one. Maybe they figure it out beforehand, and the ones that really need to maintain, their relationships are allowed to please them by voting against something that obviously um, you know, the orange one, whomever wanted, who knows why they want to ban um, birthright citizenship. And anyway, what about Barron? What happens to his citizenship? Um, but it's like, okay, the five of us will go ahead and maintain this because obviously it needs to be maintained. But you guys, yeah, Sharon, and yes, and Alito too, I'm sure. Um, and I have always thought that Kavanaugh and the others, not so much Amy Coney Barrett. She continues to surprise me. Maybe they didn't vet her well enough or something. Yeah, Carol, I agree. Somebody has a chokehold over them, but like they knew beforehand they were going to vote, not allow to. Um, I want to say disallow birthright citizenship, and it is a constitutional right, but kind of look better for their donors. I don't know, and I'd be interested. Hey, Palmer, how are you doing? Oh, that's true. Both parents would have to be non-citizens for Barron to not be a citizen. That's a good question too. Birthright citizenship, would it be from the mother or the or father or both? How does that even work out? So both parents would have to be immigrants or not from this country. It's very confusing. I'm just grateful that it didn't pass to ban or to uphold the Orange One's executive order. grateful, and I'm sure many, many, many people are very, very grateful for that. But I don't think it would ever have been overturned just because of the complications. Um, but it wasn't, today. So thank God, even though just by one vote. And then they allowed that's strange too. They allowed Trump to be able to uh, choose independent office or department um, leaders, but they didn't allow him to take out Cook. So at least Cook. Um, yes, Earth Mama. Diversity is our superpower. That was weird. The Federal Reserve Chairman. Yeah, but what about Carolyn? But what about all those alleged Russian women that come over and have their babies in Florida? Like, what would have happened to them? And I mean, you look at like TL and Musk and the Silicon Valley people that have come over from like South Africa and other countries, right? I think TL's from Germany or Austria originally. It's just crazy. Sharon Ann says their rulings opposed each other. Yeah, exactly. It's amazing the gymnastics the court does to appease their funding sources. I wonder how much Qatar and, of course, Russia and Saudi Arabia and China, these probably a major share, right? Hey, Buffy, lion's share, plus whomever. But now that's it. No more rulings for summer break. And I can't help but think each time the ridiculous rulings, like the independent, the president's ability to fire and anoint various independent agency leaders or heads is it's crazy. The more and more inspired we're going to be, and the more like the people will push for 13 Supreme, Justice Supreme Court to cover the 13 districts in the country. Is it the federal districts? And it will happen, like it will manifest because we're so pissed off. Let's see what I've missed a pair. Sharon says, the 6 conservative members need to be impeached and removed at some point. I agree 100%. Ivy says, years ago, having a child in the U.S. was for the elite and monies to have dual citizenship, Chinese, etc. Oh, I see. It's a grift game, right? They want to reimpose. Wildflower says, I don't like how the Supreme Court waits till the end of their sessions to finally report their rulings. Yeah, for sure. Maybe we could do a better. Maybe we need to really look at how things are how the government is structured, especially with executive power right now. Oops. Where are my new comments? Come on. I clicked on it. Anyway, anywho, it's I think that, of course, we're always going to be feeling this way until this government is gone. It's been hysterical and sad and tragic and ridiculous to watch this last week's debacle with the not just reflecting pool, but also with the state fair. What a disaster. The Confederate flags in the Kentucky booth and that MAGA personality that was arrested for lewd and lascivious behavior in public. the fair is falling apart. It's really poorly, I mean, abysmally attended, and such a waste of our money. It's so trashy. Um, they keep on trying to lie to us that it's just so successful, but it's pathetic. Uh, Sharon says, I hope Todd Blanche is not confirmed. He now has bar complaints against him and possible contempt. Of course, because all those MAGA lawyers, all those orange lawyers, they lose their licenses one by one by one. How desperate and blind Blanche must be to not realize he'll suffer the same fate as the rest of them. He's so thirsty, thirsty for power. I know that he really wants to be on the he wants to be, the new permanent DOJ, and that, I don't know, that's going to be interesting. But I get behind that. He wants to be a Supreme Court justice. That's his trajectory. I could be wrong, but that's really what I intuit. Um, oh, Ivy, are you saying the State Fair was known as a MAGA rally? Yeah. I don't know how much lower and trashy, the orange one can take us, but I guess there is no limit for him when you go down that way. It's just so disgusting. Our house, it's just unbelievable, but it shows who he is and his followers are, and how much contempt they have for the White House. And of course, if you think about, you go back to the 6th of January coup attempt and what they did, how they defiled the is it the Congress, the Capitol, of course. Well, I was thinking, that's what they think of us. That's who they are. And what they did was just vandalism. And the irony of the orange one accusing God knows who of Antifa of vandalizing the reflecting pool. That's gonna, if that ever really does go to court, that is just gonna backfire. It's gonna blow up in their faces for sure, for sure. Hey, Cheryl. Will there ever be a time when it becomes universal that offshore accounts aren't protected, taxed and not hidden? I believe so. I do. I believe so. Where'd it go? I'm looking for my pendulum. So I just had it. It's okay. I have some within reach. Oh, here it is. I'll ask my guides. As you guys know, or at least those of you who watch me on a consistent basis, I often use my pendulum to open up a portal to ask my guides questions. Did you notice the Nazi Arctic to I didn't really look at it too much. I heard about it. What I envisioned in my mind was, Spinal Tap and the fake Stonehenge. That's what I envisioned. Had owls dancing around the fake Stonehenge, which turned out to be Spig. That's how I see it. Lucille asks, they say he's near death. What are your feelings? That has been a consistent, I want to say also a consistent topic that has come up, because he's so unhealthy. I can ask, and is it Denise Knight? Doesn't she at least she used to every single day she would do a reading on his health. but I can ask what the guides see. I do try to read it every so often, every few days, really. Um, they say he's on this new medication that is very helpful for the heart, but I asked my guides about that. The medication that I guess allegedly, or the rumor's been going around that the FDA approved for like one person who was 79 years old at the time to take this new drug that was like similar to Ozempic, but not Ozempic. Am I saying that right? Um, and everybody figured it was him, but the guide said it's like he's too far gone for like anything to really help him extend his life very long because you know car or something uh there's only so unless you totally take out the transmission and the engine or whatever, revamp the car like it's new, but you can't really do that with a human being. You can do it somewhat, but I feel like his whole nervous system, like his whole infrastructure, it's just too late. It's too late. It's burned out, and no matter how much they try to prolong his life, it's not going to result in anything too significant. So I'll ask the guides about it. My feelings are, what I said. Let's see. Of course, and the time of our transition is divine. I mean, it's determined beyond us. There's nothing you can really do when it's your time. It's your time, bullet with your name on it or whatever. But the guides say it's very short, very, very short, like a blink of an eye. He's still hanging on, but they're showing me like a candle, and it's sputtering. It's like the flame, it's almost out. It's sputtering right now. The guides say they really struggle to keep him alive because when I say they, I mean his handlers, because they don't want a significant share of them allegedly don't want the V guy to take power. There's a huge division. Of course, they're showing me the guys are showing me the Five of Wands, and also there is the Five of Swords in there. Chaos, competition, plotting, greed, and pillaging, and it's like they're a group of or a band of thieves, and all the guys are. What is that word they're saying to me? It's like their word. It's like an really old-fashioned word, but miscreants. Is that a word? Miscreants? Can somebody look it up? Because that's what I'm hearing. They're kind of showing me like Sinbad, the story of Sinbad and the group of thieves. Or the thieves that at that time existed in the caves. But it's so much criminality. But the problem for them is that it's so chaotic and disjointed that they can't have a cohesion here, because you need a cohesion to really, whatever your mission is, whether it's noble or whether it's nefarious, to really complete what needs to be done to hold the presidency. Like that's just out the window. The guides say when he's gone, and he will be, they say that they think this year, and soon, maybe July, maybe August, but I'm not good with time about that kind of thing, but I always say, well, I'm going to ask anyway. And right now that's what I'm getting. Things can change, of course, but there's a lot of moving parts. They're showing me, oh, this is so interesting. They're showing me like cogs and wheels, like in a Swiss clock, and it's breaking down. It's no longer working the way it should work. And as much as they're under the thrall of allegedly Qatar and other governments, inability to fulfill promises, and losing support of major donors who turn to other countries because it's just, as much as, they paid for this, right? Especially these foreign donors, the product is not, it's not what they want. It's inferior. Like, America has now become an inferior product, so they turn to elsewhere. But we'll be there again in a better way. We'll be the shining beacon on the hill one day for the best reasons. Right now, you know, all I can tell you is, like, think about what the front lawn of the White House looks like right now. That's how we look to the world. But hey, we still had plenty of visitors for the World Cup, and the world doesn't picture, it doesn't necessarily see us. They see the orange one like that, and whatever, but they don't necessarily they haven't lost faith in Americans or us. Let's see what I've missed here. BG says yes. I think. Whoops. I think Georgiana is on borrowed time. Yeah. Buffy's saying, "Do the guides see Trump stepping down and trying to get a pardon from Vance before Vance?" Wow, what a shift in power dynamics that would be. And I'll read your question, Buffy. Do the guides see the orange one stepping down and trying to get a pardon from Fancy Pants? That's what I call him. Should Fancy Pants be present in relation to the midterms? That's a hard one for the orange one. That would keep him going longer than anything, because he hates, not just hates him, but hates his VP, but does not want to relinquish power. And you know how narcissists are. They do not want to give up power. Any narcissist, whether they be a leader of a country or just kind of like an annoying relative, he just doesn't want to give up power to him. Wildflower is asking, can you ask your guys if the orange one hired someone to put 8647 in the pool? Oh God. There's been no vandalism. Yeah, that's all a setup. But because even if they tried to manipulate, like the footage from the cameras, there's real footage in real time that is going to blast that out of the water. No pun intended. And of course, they can't deny that they drove the motorcade down the middle of that reflecting pond or pool. Sorry, that's what did it. BG says the anti-trans SCOTUS case is a disgrace. Trans kids should be protected, not demonized. Of course. Of course. It was a safe bet that they would refuse that, though, because, that's who they are. But the guides say, don't get too, even though it is outrageous and it is, it makes you angry. When these guys are gone, when these miscreants are gone, that's what the guys are saying. They're funny. They're just kind of joking about that word. Everything's going to shift and change. Everything regarding that, it's gonna turn around. So nothing right now is permanent. I think that the biggest takeaway. Whatever is happening now, it's not permanent. Things are going to change. And yeah, I feel so much empathy and for these trans kids in this country right now. Just my heart hurts that they're being made to go through this and they're being targeted as a scapegoat. It's just, oh my gosh. But again, that's going to lift. Kathy's asking, will we see unredacted EPS files from another country soon? Oh, the guys are saying yes, we will. It's going to keep on coming out. There is no stopping this, and especially as they piss off more and more countries like Iran, who has, they've got a good collection there, and their intelligence agency, and every country does. Every single country, you can bet on it. Like the EU shares it with all of those countries, and Australia. Is Australia part of the EU? But yeah, Australia, all these countries, Canada, they have all this stuff. It's ubiquitous. So yeah, we will. Carol is saying, I'm ready for the news that he's flying off into the sunset. I'm just looking at the new comments here. Sharon Ann saying, one day he will eat that big McDonald's in the sky. Ivy says last week's Pride parades all over the country were so joyous and bright. Yeah, for sure. And it's wonderful to watch Mandani. I said this in the last video, and there's other wonderful governors too, like I forget her name, but the Virginia governor. She's pretty amazing. I think she just recently done something on like I want to say universal childcare, but within the state, I think, or something like that. There's such amazing people out there right now. Wonderful leaders, new leaders. Oh, it's and John Ossoff, who I love. He's been killing it. And Tellerico. That's a good question. Maybe somebody wants to ask me that tie, right, between him and Paxton, who was just seen going on holiday, maybe to Iceland or something, with a new like arm candy. I'm sorry to diminish that woman, whoever she is, but somebody who's not his wife. Up to the hypocrisy of it. So it's gonna be interesting to see like how we change course, how this big ship of America changes course to a better direction. BG says, does it look like the job market will improve soon? That's kind of a little complicated. I'm not sure whether it improves until like the Dems take over. But I asked the guides. Yes and no. It depends on the state. The red states, the blue states, much better because you have governors who care about the people and the workforce. I think right now what's been on my mind so much is the data centers and how horrible and monstrous they are. I know I talked about it last week and the week before, and I just Googled, could they be smaller? And yes, even Google, which is ironic, AI says they can be smaller. They don't have to take our water. There's been modifications where they can actually run, be smaller and more efficient and be eco-friendly. But these big monstrosities, like one somewhere that like has recently like been calculated to have taken, or recently the calculations come out, I should say, that it's taken 30 million gallons of water. Um, and Oregon, I think the aquifer's been poisoned, and it's just they have to stop. There's no justification for these data centers that are just they make no sense. But there are smaller ones, even little ones, and that people can have like the size of a refrigerator in their house or something. Um, what about the state of California, BG? Uh, oh, there's even different technology than coolant, because coolant can be toxic too. There's like a way to recycle the water. I think that in Michigan that's become a requirement. There's there's a data center like not that far from us, but I think it's been forced to by state regulation um, recycle its water, and there are ways. And why do we need all of that storage? I still say in this time of nano, technology and microchips, um, really we should be looking at smaller and smaller amounts of space and resources to fuel these things. It just makes no sense. It's just a land grab, and I think. Has anybody else heard about the conspiracy amongst these oligarchs to steal our water, and make water like a privilege, right? And I think the data centers are something like that. They're trying to destroy our water sources through data centers. Ivy says, I'm so happy to be recognized as a Democrat socialist. Lucille says, I believe all those lost jobs by Doge once the Dems get in, they'll be hired back. I agree. Oh, there'll be so much. The Army, like we'll get our generals back. We'll get our federal employees back. Hundreds and thousands of people will come back. It'll be the end of Project 2025 and their attempt to eradicate the American bureaucracy. Ivy, right now the data centers. I heard somebody say that in the farmlands, like they actually knew some people who said there are no birds and no bees around their data center, and it's just poisoning the water. They're horrible, horrible. The ones that are like the kind of like the Leon, the ones where he wants to now send them to space. Space can be polluted too. Space sending. He's so not too bright to not understand like how we're affected by increased heat and light by his own damn satellites up there that are like way too bright. We're all part of like one ecosystem really in the end, and you can't. And in his mind, they're somehow separate. So he's not, it's not all that bright. The way and yet like a child, and even a child might have a better understanding of how the cosmos works. But yeah, I agree. Kathleen says, data centers are the tech bros' attempts at domination and control. Basis has been saying that people drink too much water. Now, just on this last one, I thought so too, but I heard that he didn't actually say that, or it's been discounted that was like a rumor that was going around that he actually said people drink too much water. But I don't know. I can't say 100% that he actually said it now that I've heard it challenged. Not that he is any better person, because if he didn't say it, I'm not sure if he, I can't remember. I was listening to somebody who said, well, he didn't really actually say that, like maybe Hal Sparks, somebody like that. But I don't know. He may have, he may not have. That's kind of all I know right now. BG says, when you say when the Dems come back, do you mean in November? I mean from November onwards. From November onwards, yeah. That's what my guys are saying. Yeah, we'll take it all back, and then we'll have a Democratic president, and a wonderful one. I'm not going to tell you the gender or anything. I'm not going to even say who it is, but we're turning a corner with the new, with the shifting of the energies. Yeah, I think from November onwards. I hope, but that's what I hear, and that's what I hear. I'm sure other people said the same thing, and not just me. Abby says, yes, we learned of water being worth the price of gold almost 20 years ago. It has come to pass. Lucille says Benzo is the one who's talking about the shortage of water. He owns Amazon, I believe. Yeah, well, yeah, but I heard somebody say that he didn't actually say people drink too much water, but he could have said that. Can you send me like where your source is? It's just that I just wasn't sure then whether that was. I'm sure he probably. Well, I couldn't even say whether he believes it or not. I don't particularly think very highly of this man, but somebody said he didn't say that, but maybe he did say that. So I'm not sure that specific quote. Sharon's saying, I think California may pass laws to protect the water here. I hope so. I believe that Michigan is also working on that. And I pray that we have a Democratic governor to replace Whitmer, who's been a Democrat, a wonderful Democratic governor. Even though I know people have cringed at how she was so what's the word? She seems so submissive to the orange one, but she's been a really good governor here. She really has. Hey, Kathy. Hello, everybody. Hello, Melissa. Hello to you, Kathy. But Lucille, if I'm wrong, I apologize. I don't mean to undermine what you're saying. I just wasn't sure when I heard somebody else say he didn't actually say that, but he could have been wrong. Who knows? Snow says there needs to be a scan of records of all federal employees to look for Rump supporters to fire. I don't know how that would work, because it shouldn't the federal employees be kind of like their own political beliefs be their own private beliefs and not ideally not interfere with their jobs. I think we should be looking for Russian spies. So. and January 6th says, God, the people involved in January 6th, like people who are destructive and working to undermine our democracy. Yeah, Jocelyn Benson is running for the governor of Michigan. She is. And I just got my mail-in vote ballot, so I'm looking forward to filling that out. We have some great candidates running. BG says, I know you're not an astrologer. Whoops, let me put it back on. But do your guides have anything to say about the astrological configuration this month called Barbolt's Basket? Well, I do love, I'm steeped in astrology, but I'm not astrologers are like mathematicians, or, it's an expertise. But coincidentally, I was just watching Sinisterhood. I don't know if you've ever watched that. These two women, they're pretty brilliant. They go into all kinds of interesting topics, and or at least I just saw a video they released about Barbolt's Basket, and he was an astrologer who predicted pretty spot on all kinds of world events, like Nazi Germany, and I think he lived till he was 98. He before he died in 2019, he predicted COVID, and it was really nice because they were talking about how he said that when Saturn or Neptune was it Saturn conjuncting Neptune? Um, in February, it was actually February 20th of this year, it would bring in this huge shift to the better. Like we would actually bring in the Aquarian age. We would bring in a much more positive and like a lifting of vibration for humanity. And this was a really pivotal year. Has anybody else heard that? So that was really nice to watch. I mean, they said, he didn't describe exactly everything that would happen. He's just describing the energies of the planets. But the trajectory over time is pretty wonderful. What's coming, and I was really happy I watched that. That made me feel really much better. So Sinisterhood is the podcast if you want to watch it. And those women are pretty amazing. I've been listening to them for a while off and on, and then they kind of fell off my radar, and then they kind of came back on with this. Lucille said it heard it on MS Now. Wow. What's in July? Oh, the basket. Well, it all started, I think, February 20th with that particular aspect. I think it was conjunction. Oh, both planets 0 degrees in Aries. So things are kind of working from that. I remember what they said. They said it was a reset button. It was like a reset for humanity. CJ says dumping made federal employees at will, so if they hang around to sabotage a new administration, then those Fed employees should be let go or fired. Oh yeah, I would imagine anybody trying to sabotage the new administration need to be let go. 100%. And we need to bring back the other, the old employees that were let go because they weren't going to follow Project 2025. I can't wait for that. That would be fantastic for us to, reemploy those so unfairly fired. Oh my God, can you? It's just giving me a flashback of Leon coming in with Doge. Was that? I mean, that was crazy. It's crazy that nobody could stop him, and he was able to do all of that defunding and destruction of departments. And how did that even happen? How we have to reconstruct our government so that can never happen again. Just insane. Kathy saying, since it's been 6,000 years since this has occurred, I keep to look back at historically what was going on back then. It may be a very tough history to locate. Yeah, well, was that like Samaria? Wasn't Samaria like a great metropolis or a great civilization before there was that mass immigration to Egypt? Samaria was pretty mind-blowing from what I have been able to ascertain of it. I'm trying to think of, yeah, and so there's a lot going on, a lot of like huge rises and falls of civilization. Anybody, a historian here, can tell us a little bit more? Oh, Snow says, yes, I heard Biden DOJ was trying to sort out rump saboteurs in the DOJ. That was part of the problem, with Merrick Garland and his, his FBI or Department of Justice, sorry, because there was so much sabotage. He wasn't allowed in for months, and then it was it took a long time for him to find his footing because of this issue. We can argue, like obviously, like we don't like somebody who would have been a lot more active and I want to say not persecuting, but prosecuting the coup members, including the orange one. But there was a lot of there were a lot of saboteurs. Hi, Selma. How you doing? Kathy says, those who know the laws and regulation for each department and the vast experience. And don't forget that Project 2025 specifically, and very methodically, at least the intent was to destroy each department of government, to eradicate and allow for the destruction of the Department of Education and Human Resources and FEMA. And this was intentional, and like BJ said at the beginning of this video, meant to cut the last thread that the government was hanging on. So that's what we've been really experiencing. Ivy's asking, will Miller be stopped before he can go farther with his eugenics plan? I'll ask the guides. The guides say yes, he will be stopped. Oh, they're reminding me of the destruction that he's done, but he will be stopped, they say. Yes. Yeah, 100%, CJ. Vote intentionally wanted federal employees fearful and scared. The fact that they've been spending years, plotting to do this thing, to destroy our government. But my guides have always shown me, especially when I'm worried, but they have always reminded me that our democracy will stand strong. It may be shaky a little bit, it may be attacked, but it will not be defeated. They've always shown me this. Ivy says, so good since I'm old enough to be in his plan. Let me see what I've missed here. Since felons cannot vote, we need to create laws to be sure that felons cannot be elected president. Yes. Oh, did you hear that one of the votes that the Supreme Court did, and one of the things that they settled was that they did not overturn the Carroll lawsuit. And so the felon remains a convicted, what is the word? I don't know if I can use the R word, but they didn't overturn his conviction, and she can still get her money. He still has to pay her the $5 million plus interest. She won, basically. The Supreme Court upheld that ruling. Isn't that amazing? So maybe that was one way they could all stick to him, because, they're, on one hand, the conservatives are, allegedly, theoretically, are trying to please their donors, but on the other hand, they probably all hate him because he's just, except maybe Thomas and Alito, he's been terrible to them. They're so fed up with him. They're like, yep. I don't know what the ruling was either, but they have ruled, they have ruled in favor of Carroll. Is it E.J. Carroll? What is her first name? E.J. Carroll? Oh, God, I'm terrible with names. I'm so sorry. Lucille says, once Trump is gone, his entire cabinet will be tossed out and investigated. Dems will make sure of that. They all seem to have done extremely very, very illegal, even, entertainment purposes only. I'm just a girl talking to her guys. What do I know? But they all seem to have potentially that been trying to overthrow our government and in and betrayed us to other countries. Been working for the other guys. Eugene, thank you, Eugene. I was thinking Eugene in my mind. Um, yes, that's correct. That's correct. I'm here. I'm sorry. My mouse dropped, and then it X'd out the screen. But magically, I am retrieved. I'm here. I'm back. Can you see me? Can people see me now? Hello? I'm really still here. Lucille says Dems will find all the money, even those in faraway accounts. We will recoup the money he and his family has stolen. I 100% agree. Yay! I am back. I have seen that. My guides have shown me that, Lucille. Like clawing back the money. We will get it because it's I said this last time. It's like a shell game. I spent 15 million on this, 5 billion on this, whatever. Well, the money's not really spent. It's just tucked away. That's what I see. Um, oh my goodness. I'm glad I was able to come back. Am I still here? I hope so. Oh, good. So let me see what else the guides want to tell you. Yeah, Earth Mama, he really does love spending our money. This is his money. He thinks it's his money. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine. Good question. Snow asks, will Johnson seat the new Dems in Congress in 2027 in a timely manner? Let me ask. They're saying I don't know about this one. I'm kind of doubting, but the guides are never wrong. It's just me, if I'm hearing it correctly. But I don't know if he'll be speaker by then. I think the Dems might actually take the House before then. If he's still speaker, he would give us trouble. But he would be. I mean, it'd be just like, I think he sees it like a game of football, like running out the clock. But he will have to seat them. But he may not be speaker by then. A Democrat might be speaker. Well, yep, that's that's what I'm doing, or trying to find out. Yeah, they see him leaving soon. He has such a slim majority. Oh my goodness! So that guy, that congressman who kind of has gone missing for months. Has he ever shown up? Like, where the heck is he? And then Mitch McConnell still out of sight. Now pubs have introduced a change to M17. That state legislation selects U.S. Senates. They're relentless to serve the 1%. It won't. I'm hearing it won't pass. Guys are saying it won't cut the mustard. I don't know what that even means, but they said no. Do the guides see Hakeem Jeffries or another Dem? They do see Hakeem. I know guys want AOC, etc., but they do see Hakeem Jeffries being the leader. It'll be a million times better, believe me, than Johnson. Yeah, Lucille, 17 million's missing from the Kennedy Center. It's just um, all a grift and a embezzlement and just a heist, a theft. Um, oh, he showed up today with diagnosis of depression. Did he actually show up to the Congress? Well, that's a long time to go missing for depression. I'm sure a lot of the Congress people are on depression medications. That I don't know. It's crazy. I wonder what really happened. Snow's asking, will McConnell be replaced by a Democrat? Eventually, but not at first. So maybe he really isn't going to come back. A lot of people think he has crossed over to meet his maker. He's kind of, he may have. I'm seeing that there's a potential that hasn't left quite yet, but he's not. He's like in between or something. He's not quite left his body, but I don't know if he'll be capable of coming back. Johnson will lose, Lucille says. Is that all he says, CJ? Think he should, that guy should lose his job, like to be absent that long without reason. He should step down and let somebody else come in. Sharon says the Kentucky legislature passed a law that they can only replace him with a Republican, which in itself is unconstitutional because it can be legally challenged. Oh, I see. Interesting. BJ says, will California? BJ says, will Johnson lose his seat in Congress? I think so. I think so, yes. That's what the guys are saying. He will. Oh, Tom Keene is the name of the guy who just came back. Thank you, BJ. Hit the thumbs up, folks. That's a whole mystery. That is a whole mystery. Like, what the heck? So let's see. What do you see? We can trust him to screw up the fourth for us, Ivy. What do you see? 45 on the fourth. 45 is shouting about a big rally and fireworks. Yeah, considering the what we've seen, so far, it'll be a major flop. Do you remember when he had the tanks coming down the streets? Was it last year? The guides say it's going to be crazy. It's just it's the same old, really. But it's just Rump trying to get attention, more lies, but health problems. Major health problems coming up, like maybe a disappearance and a trip to, Walter Reed. There's some big health event. Does anybody else see that? Something coming up pretty soon. Are you saying Tom Keene, his father was governor of New Jersey before Chris Christie? BG's asking, do I see any violence on the 4th? Yes. The guys say yes. Sorry about that. Yes, the guides say instability, especially in DC, some kind of and not from the Antifa, not for the liberals, which are not. Antifa doesn't even really exist, and Antifa means anti-fascist. So for God's sake, um, they say some kind of violence from like kind of a super MAGA person, and it involves like a shooting. But this is somebody from like the other people have been involved in these kinds of like assassination, and I say that in quotation mark um, attempts with the same trajectory, some violence, mainly in DC. I hope I'm wrong about that. I don't like predicting things like that. Um, um, BG saying DC violence around World Cup events, not World Cup events, more honed in on the the White House. But please take that with a big grain of salt. I would never wish that. And but there's something potentially. A lot of people usually go to the mall to watch fireworks, but they can't go to the reflecting pool, right? Because there's the National Guard and and a fence up around it. So our reflecting pool that they have no right to. That itself, I think, is going to be taken to court, like the Kennedy Center sign, which was ordered. The tarp was ordered to come down. Um, Not so much a big crowd this year. It's sad, but that's just how they see it. Yeah, but a lot of joy with the World Cup events. So but everything that Rump, the orange one, touches he destroys it. He sabotages it. He poisons it, contaminates it. So not surprising that right now, when he's still our mad king, uh, he would be doing that to our birthday, 250th birthday. But we'll make it right. We'll make it right. Lucille is saying, crying out loud, is saying the orange one will end up in the hospital on July 4th. Yeah, maybe that's what my guides were showing me. It's some health event. Earth Mom is saying, I like Andy Bashir. Are you saying for Andy Bashir for House Speaker? He may not even be a member of Congress. I'm woefully ignorant, but hey, Celtic Sarah, good to see you. Will Dumpy make it to the World Cup championship game on the 19th of July? He may not, the guides say. There may be some issues there. He may want to, but I'm not sure. I can't say yes or no on that, but I'm getting kind of like right now, the energy's the way things are. He may be there, but I don't think so. I don't know. Right now, I'm hearing no. BG says the orange one is usually in the hospital the first weekend of every month to get medical procedures. Hey, Celtic, before I go, can you give us a good astrological update? Oh, he's the governor of Kentucky, of course. Sorry. Oh, this has to do with the conversation. I was trying to associate Andy Bashir with another conversation, but that's good. Yeah, he can then control the super Republican group legislators of trying to take over the electoral process. That's what the guides say. Oh, did you watch last week too, talking about Kentucky, the terrible flooding that happened there? That was so sad. And I think several people lost their lives. Yeah, people can't go to the pool. Chain link fence around it. No, oh my God, the ducks, the poor ducks. um, uh, that lost their lives because of course, T. Rump hates birds or any wildlife of any kind or any animal or any living, breathing thing. Celtic Seer says T will be gone, removed by year's end. We'll move on in 2027. Ah, interesting, interesting. Nanette says we all just have to stay safe, sound, and cool. I agree. Tam's asking, hello, Melissa, do you see that COVID-19 mRNA vaccine is tied to causing cancer? No, I don't see that. My guides don't see that. But I'm not a scientist, so I sure look at the scientific studies that are going on. I'm not seeing it, but just because I'm not seeing it doesn't, I don't know. I can't really have an opinion about that. Thanks, Earth Mama. Okay, you guys. Oh, Celtic Seer is being asked, will Barboat's basket save us in July? Celtic Seer says, astrologically, July will be extremely active. The fuse will be lit in August. Be mindful in crowds. Thank you very, very much. And saying that as it's past the witching hour. Oh, by the way, before I go, did anybody see the moon yesterday, the full moon, the strawberry moon? I got to see it. It was amazingly beautiful. It had like a rainbow ring around it, and it was light pink. Oh, it was just beautiful. I felt so blessed by that moon. Oh, wow. Of course, I feel blessed anytime I see the moon, or the sun for that matter, or any celestial object, but it was just, I couldn't stop staring at it. It was just beautiful. So I think it's a good omen for us. So beautiful. I tried to take a photograph of it with my phone, but I really don't have the technology to really do it justice. Celtic Seer says, people will need to become more discerning, and it depends on how B hits one's personal astrological chart. A new chapter begins. BG says, yay! So you guys, thank you, Melissa. Many blessings to all. I did. Oh, you saw the moon. Yes, I agree, Earth Mama. So much beauty on the earth, on the planet. So, hey, TW, before I go, I want to wish everybody a wonderful celebration. And even though I know it's in people's heart to not celebrate because of this terrible mess that we're in right now, and everybody's saying, what's the point? But that I don't get a takeaway from that. And I personally I kind of have gone off fireworks because of the how frightened they make animals and the wildlife. Although I heard that China developed a silent version of fireworks, which I think would be fantastic because I think they're beautiful. But however you choose to enjoy it, choose joy. Celebrate the ideal of what our country can become. Just because we've reached this a difficult point, it's a tipping point, and it seems like right now the predictions are that we will overcome this and we will create a much, much better future. Oh yeah, Celtic Seer, and yeah, let us say a prayer for all those lost in Venezuela. So I will leave on a cast statement here. Happy and safe Fourth to everyone. And yeah, stay cool for those in the heat wave like I am. It's like in the 98 out there. But also stick around. There is a musical outro to see off. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being part of this wonderful group, this wonderful conversation that we have. I so appreciate it. And you guys take care, okay? Bye-bye.